All right, on October 31st, a day that we all thought, but apparently it's Nevada Day. The Avs go into Vegas. They go to the Strip, a 2 p.m. matinee on a Friday afternoon, and they get a win against one of the NHL's best teams. They reclaim the very top spot in the Western Conference with a 4-2 doubling up of the Vegas Golden Knights. It started off early, 41 seconds into this game. The guy fresh off an $11.5 million average annual basis contract extension that kicks in next year for the term of 8 seasons in Marty Necas takes a beautiful backdoor pass from Cale Makar in the first minute of this game, and the Avs were off to the races. It felt like they had controlled that game through the first 40 minutes. As we welcome you guys into Between the Pipes here. Mark Springer, not with us today. He is currently working on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, producing the acclaimed Kreckman and Lindahl show as they get you guys ready for a football weekend with CU looking to get back to their winning ways, and hopefully the Broncos continuing theirs, coming off a drubbing against the Cowboys last weekend. So make sure you guys don't miss the end of their show. They'll be going on through 6 p.m. before Berto and Spring take over for the Blitz and close out your weekday on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. But a matinee win for the Avalanche on Friday. And it's an excellent, absolutely excellent first month of the season for the Avs. You are 12 games in. You're leading the Western Conference with new players. Look all throughout the lineup today. New players are making big time impacts. As we say what up to Kevin, if you guys want to jump in the comments, make sure you guys hop in there. We'll get them up on the screen, either on YouTube, just search at Altitude Sports Radio, or you can watch us on Twitter at Altitude SR, or on my own at Raj on Radio. 4-2 is your final today, but Marty Necas scoring, Brock Nelson scoring, Brent Burns scoring today. You have to go into the empty netter with Cale's fourth of the season to find a true returner, right? I know Brock and Marty Necas had minutes, obviously, in games with the Avs last year coming over midseason, but for all intents and purposes, they are new Avalanche players for the entirety of a season and moving forward. Brent Burns at 40 years old scoring a goal today it's impressive, dude. The old dudes around the league right now, if you guys were watching the Altitude broadcast, Burns now has 7 points. Corey Perry at 40 years old has 7 points. Evgeny Malkin has 17th. He's good for third right now in the NHL as the secondary assist that Nathan MacKinnon gets on the empty netter pops him up to second, just 1 point behind Vegas's Jack Eichel, who leads the league with 19 points through 12 games played this year. The newcomers have been great, and I love the length that Burns adds on defense. He allows you to do so much in terms of deploying different defensive pairings. At the end of the game, you saw Manson and Taves out together, and I didn't hate it. I know there's a goal that goes off of Burns' skate today or his stick, and it goes short side. You can't really fault the defenseman for that. If I'm going to take any fault on the goal, rather both goals. I know it's a 4-on-3, the first one, the hurdle, hard wrap, doorstep walk. He ends up beating Josh Manson as Manson has to play a little bit higher up on the 4-on-3 opportunity. I still think I put that on Wedgwood there. You have two options as a goaltender. Your two options are to do either one, meet the player's hands and meet the stick, or you have to beat him to the back post. And I thought Scott Wedgwood got caught a little bit in the middle today, where for some reason he either decided to go to the back post or reach at the hands. You have to do one or the other. You can't do both. I also believe that Hurdle may have misstepped just a touch today. There's no reason for him to get beat 5-hole there. I know he's trying to push to the back post so that right knee does pop up just a little bit. I would rather him see or keep a paddle flat on the ice there and then go meet the hands of Hurdle in front. I really can't complain all that much right now about it. I think the second goal is more so on the netminder than anyone else. It's a weird bounce. It obviously goes off of Burns, but I'd rather him stay short side on the post and step up and make sure that his shoulders are actually flush to the post. You're making sure that nothing can beat you short side because God forbid anything hits off your pad. You should have defensive presence in front to pick up sticks. So those are the only two things that I think are like somewhat alarming for Scott Wedgwood. Outside of that, he played great, and he has been an excellent backup netminder through the first month of the season. He's been perfect. He's honestly making himself a lot of money in the offseason. I don't know if Colorado is going to re-sign him. They're obviously bringing over Ilya Nabokov this year, and he's expected to be your backup goaltender of the future, if not your starter, many, many years down the road. After Mackenzie Blackwood's 5-year extension comes up, you would hope that Nabokov steps in to that starting role. It allows you to use Wedgwood a lot this year, maybe have him step away next offseason and make a bunch of money, hopefully with a Stanley Cup ring. I worry that you're going to tax Wedgwood a little bit too much if Blackwood doesn't come back and start soon. I really need to see him play. Obviously, you've got a game tomorrow at San Jose. That's really not a lot of travel. He is a former Shark. I would expect that his name is up on the board. There's some money up on the board for Blackwood. I hope that Mackenzie Blackwood starts tomorrow's game. I still believe he's one of the top 3 Canadian netminders in the NHL right now. He needs to get some starts if he wants to make Team Canada as a backdoor option. I think he starts against the Sharks. Sharks coming off of a big win, found a way to get a 5-2 victory or a 5-3 victory last night. So some good vibes for a 3-6-2 team that's very young. If you guys haven't watched San Jose, you're going to absolutely adore Macklin Celebrini. That guy is, first off, he was a miserable player to coach against, even when he was 14 years old and he was playing at Shattuck St. Mary's. And the reason why is not because he was so skilled and fast and had great hands and could both kill penalties and score on the power play. It's because he has this screw you mentality and doesn't have an issue going into quarters. You're going to love watching Macklin Celebrini. Back to today's game. Really good start for Marty Necas, coming off of a day in which he signs an 8-year, $11.5 million extension. It is nuts to me, absolutely nuts to me, that people don't think he's worth $11.5 million. Whatsoever. All you have to look at is the 150-foot zone entry that he gives you in the middle of that third period that sets up the Brent Burns goal. He takes the puck from a defensive position, top of the circles, and utilizes his feet to take free ice. And then when that free ice goes away, which is essentially when he crosses the neutral zone dot line, what does he do? He doesn't panic. He doesn't try and be selfish. He knows that he's got players and numbers coming up from behind, right? So instead of wrapping a puck around or trying to do something individual and walk through a one-on-two opportunity, he turns away to the boards and he makes it look flashy. It's this beautiful little walking spinorama, and it kind of freezes the defense. You see 3 sets of Vegas Golden Knights eyes all look at number 88. And that spin move isn't to open up space for himself. It's to open up the high slot for a trailer to come in. And who does he hit? The 40-year-old defenseman Brent Burns, who scores his first goal as a member of the Colorado Avalanche. It's a beautiful short side shot. It's the first of, I think he's going to score between 5 and 7 this year at 5-on-5. He's going to find a few shots that get through with good screens. It's a beautiful shot. And it's all because Marty Necas is a one-man zone entry. And as we see the NHL continue to evolve, zone entries are one of the most important statistics in this game. Making sure that you gain zone 3-on-2s, 2-on-2s, and don't give up the puck immediately as you get in there so you're not having to back check at the end of the 45-second shift. Necas is one of the best in the world at doing it, and he showed you tonight against an excellent team. It's not like he was doing this against, let's say, San Jose tomorrow night. He wasn't doing it against the Sharks. He was doing it against a legit Stanley Cup contending team and a big, long, mean defensive core of Vegas. I love the player. I love the fit. I think that because he is slightly younger than Mikko Rantanen, I'm a huge fan of the extension. You can have your revisionist history and say, well, it was just $500,000. Why didn't you sign Mikko Rantanen? We've been trying to tell you for the better part of a year, Rantanen wasn't taking 12 here. He wasn't taking 12 in Carolina. And when the trade came down from Toronto, again, there's a trade that Carolina tried to make with the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they were going to swap 1-for-1 Mitch Marner, who's now a Vegas Golden Knight, and Mikko Rantanen. And Rantanen wasn't willing to take that same 8x12 offer in Canada, and that was what the trade was dependent on. Was Mikko's going to say yes to this thing? He said no. They turn around, they deal him to Dallas, and it had to take 3 teams to tell Mikko Rantanen, you're not getting $12 million, so we're going to move on and we're going to go somewhere else. Rantanen then went, well, if I'm not going to get 12 from Colorado, Carolina, or Toronto, 3 contending teams, what's going to happen on the open market? And I don't think Mikko Rantanen, with multiple 100-point seasons and a Stanley Cup ring to his name, is done wanting to win. I think he wanted to go to a contender or stay with a contender here in Colorado. He could have gotten his 13.5 or his 14 million from Chicago, from some sort of bottom feeding team. I think him signing in Dallas was, I'm going to get my money. I wish it had happened in Colorado, but I'm going to get my money with a team that's still contending for the vast majority of this contract extension. All of that said, 11.5 feels like a little bit of a slap in the face because Marty Necas is not yet the player that Mikko Rantanen was at the time of his trade away from Colorado. And what that is a Hall of Fame caliber player. If he plays 8 seasons at relatively full health alongside Nathan MacKinnon, Marty Necas will become a Czech Hall of Famer. He will be an NHL, or a Hockey Hall of Fame player, if he spends 8 healthy seasons with Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon by his side. He is that good. He sees the ice that well. It all comes down to, what can you do in the postseason? When it really matters for the Colorado Avalanche, what will you do? And last year, I wouldn't say he was bad, but he didn't elevate his game like he has through the first 12 games of the regular season this year. It will all come down to the next 8 years. And you have a long time to get this data set in. It'll all come down to what he does between the months of April and June. He can score 110 points. He can score 120 points for all I care. If they don't get it done in the postseason, it doesn't matter. That's the reason why Mikko Rantanen, you could be okay with Mikko Rantanen becoming a ghost for 7 games, 10 games, and then showing up and being one of the top 7 players in the world for another 5-game stretch. We saw it during the postseason last year. Look at what he did. He had back-to-back hat tricks against the Avs, and then in game 1 of the next series, they obviously end up losing, losing in the third round in the West, but goes back-to-back hat tricks. And then what does he do when they need him the most? In the Western Conference Final, yet again, he goes away. But you could deal with that because Rantanen was so damn good for the Avs in a Stanley Cup winning postseason. Necas has to win a cup in order for you to be okay with him not necessarily raising his game yet. The good thing is, it's all in front of us. And most of the time, these 8-year contract extensions, they start to go sour when guys hit like 34, 35. The vast majority of this contract extension, you have Marty Necas in the middle of his prime. And you can make the argument he hasn't even hit it yet. So I love the contract extension. I loved how he played today. This is a good win for the Avs to go in there. The penalty kill was phenomenal tonight. I know they give up a 4-on-3 goal. I thought the 5-on-4 penalty kill was great against a really dangerous Vegas Golden Knights power play unit today. They essentially get a shorthanded goal. They kill one off. Brock Nelson and Jack Drury, the final kill unit there. Landeskog steps onto the ice and the puck turns over. Nelson jumps the zone. Jack Drury has his head up. Beautiful pass through the middle of the ice onto Nelson's backhand, and he doesn't miss. He goes 5-hole, makes the netminder fall on his ass. Loved it today, man. Loved it today. Other mentions that I need to make. I thought the 6-on-5 kill at the end of the game was pretty darn good. Typically, the Avs kind of run around with their heads cut off. They killed plays in the corner, and that's all you have to do is kill plays in the corner when you're down 5 versus 6 at the end of the game when you have a 1-goal lead. Kill play in the corner. pop a puck out from the defensive half wall and then try and score a 150-foot, 180-foot shot. Cale Makar gets a bounce off of a Vegas defender, a couple of bounces off the ice, and lo and behold, you have a 4-2 victory on the first of a back-to-back before you see the San Jose Sharks tomorrow at 2 p.m. Really weird schedule. There's a lot of like back-to-back afternoon games to start the season. I wonder if that's because the NHL has to get ready for the Olympic break. It feels like it's a lot early, but you guys tell me this. You have a 6-1-4 record after your first 12 games of the season. Or rather, wait, is that right? 6-1-4? Is that where Colorado is right now? Sorry, 7-1-4 after your first 12 games. Do some remedial math, Alex, and we can continue the show. That is an 18 point of possible 24 points in your first month of play. I sign up for that any day of the week, even though you have 5 losses in those 12 games, just one of them coming in regulation, and every single one of those losses coming with just 1 goal differential. You should feel great about where the Avs are right now. It's not going to be like this all season. There's going to be some dips. There's going to be some poor play. God forbid there's going to be some injuries. I'll knock on the wooden co-host stick behind me. God forbid there's injuries, but we know in hockey there's going to be some dips this year. And what you've done in this October versus last October is you've set yourself up for hopefully a 1 or a 2 seed in the Western Conference playoffs. It's very tight right now at the top. Winnipeg's got 16 points. Utah's got 16 points. Dallas has 14 points in 11 games. There's not a lot of time to separate yourself from the rest of the league outside of like the true bottom feeders right now, with like Calgary only having 6 points of a possible 24. But what you've done is you've set yourself up on a great trajectory to not have to chase those points at the end of the season and hopefully play from a position of power, much like Winnipeg did at the end of last year. You want to have that 1 seed. You want to be going up against a Seattle in the first round, in LA in the first round, maybe even a Utah in the first round. You want to have that matchup. You don't want to have to go through the 2-headed gauntlet of the Central Division just to get to the Western Conference final. You want to cut that down to 1, right? That's all you want to do. Cut it down to 1, and more likely than not, you'll be fine, and you'll go up against Edmonton, or you'll go up against Vegas, and you'll have to get through them. Again, a really tough task in and of itself to win another Stanley Cup championship. It all happens because of seeding. I love the way that they've started this year. It's been fun, dude. I thought Gabe Landeskog was better tonight. He does feel a little slow. Don't get me wrong. He feels a little slow, but he is sure-handed with the puck. He doesn't mess around in the neutral zone, and he brings a little bit of screw you mentality to this team. It's amazing how having just one guy who plays like that back onto your team, it can change the way you play. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there probably thinking, what about the Barbashev hit? What about the hit on Gavin Brindley today? I want to say Gavin Brinkley all the time. What about that hit? I didn't really take all that much issue with the hit. Brindley is a smaller player, therefore he is closer to elbows. He ducked a little bit, and honestly, I thought Barbashev held off. I didn't think it was dirty. I didn't think it was a flying elbow. Barbashev cut through the middle of the ice. He tucked his elbow. He tried to throw his hands onto Brindley's lead shoulder. It happened to get him up high. Did I love the results of the hit? No. Did I think it was a headhunter or a cheap shot? No. And as a result, I don't think it's worth a fight. Do I think it's worth like a little bit of a cross check, or, maybe you're talking to Barbashev throughout the rest of the game? Yeah, I do. I certainly think that's worth it. But I think there's an epidemic around the league that every time there's a big hit, it means that guys have to stop playing the game and just fight. I think it's nonsense. And with the way that fights kind of go around today, it's not the same. It's not the same price to be paid as it was in the 90s, certainly as it was in the 80s or the 70s, but it's not the same price to be paid. more often than not, you're punching helmets and you're cutting your hand up and you're worried about breaking your own hand. Sometimes you're just dancing with players where you're just doing this little arm wrestling match and you're hoping that you don't get alligator rolled over. I'm I don't know if I loved it, man. But I'm fine with the Barbashev hit. I would have loved to have seen like a little bit more juice, a little bit more fuck you in terms of like getting to Barbashev and give him a slash on the ankles or cross checking his ribs. But I didn't need to see anyone fight him because I didn't think it was a dirty hit. He didn't get bullied out of this game. Where you almost lost the game was the neutral zone defending. You gave up a lot of 3-on-2s in that third period to Vegas, especially after the 5-on-3. And I know that the game probably hinges on that 5-on-3 calls, a little bit of a weak hook, but sticks are up in your hands. You're going to have to call those things. Outside of that kill, man, you kind of opened up the Red Sea in terms of the neutral zone dot defending, and it allowed Vegas to get downhill way more often than they did in the first and second period, where you kind of dominated control of this game. The Avs have been a really good neutral zone defending team all year. It has turned them into one of, if not the best rush offensive team in the NHL this year. And in terms of like shot, expected goals, and expected chances, Colorado's the best team in the league right now. You want to be those underlying numbers, while they don't mean everything, more often than not, if you're top 5 in the league, you're going to be a really, really good team and you're going to get a lot of points. If you're top 5 in the league in expected goals, top 5 in the league in Corsi, they're not perfect stats, but they tell you we have the puck more often than our opponent does. And when the gap, I saw this today on The Athletic, Jesse Granger found this. I think it's expected PDO percentage for the Avs. They're number 1 in the league right now at like 54.5%. And the next team is 2% shy of them, which I believe is Dallas, second in the league. The same gap between Colorado and the number 2 team in the league in Dallas is the same gap between number 2 and number 8. Again, Colorado, big time win today. We will have a Between the Pipes coming to you guys tomorrow, right around the same time, 4:45 or so, after the Avs take on the San Jose Sharks. Big time win for the Avs, man. 6-1-4 after 12 games. They go through the month of October at the very top of the Western Conference. Marty Nate just signs his big time contract extension. He is he's a point per game player. Nathan MacKinnon, one shy of the NHL's lead that's currently held by Jack Eichel. He is held off the score sheet today, but no Springer today. He's working with Kreckman and Lindahl, but for Mark Springer, I'm Alex Ryanemi. Avs win. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow on Between the Pipes. Love you.